Good morning, everyone. Believe it or not, we are now halfway through our intercession course. So it is Monday morning, May the 8th. I just wanted to check in with you on a couple of items. First off, I think most of us have already know this, but just in case, please be sure to always submit your worksheet documents for the timeline. So that Word document where you fill out all of your research before you copy and paste it into Tiki-Taki. You need to submit that on Blackboard as well as your submission to Tiki-Taki. That helps me keep everything in order and make sure that, just in case anything gets altered on Tiki-Taki, which it usually doesn't, but just in case, I'm able to see your original work and give you credit for that. So just a reminder to make sure that you keep submitting those. Also, I wanted to give you a few hints about the final project. I think most of you now have submitted your final project topics and your research questions. If you have any questions about the feedback that I gave you, please send me an email and let me know, or send me a text message. It looks like all of you are on a pretty good track so far. There are a few of you I gave some pointers to or some suggestions to, just to make things, or make sure I should say, that your questions are either narrow enough or not too narrow in order to complete the project. The main thing I want to point out here is that the final project is not a research paper. Hopefully that will be welcome news. The way that some of you wrote your questions and your proposals suggested that you were thinking in terms of writing a research paper. You're not going to be writing a research paper for this project. What you are going to be doing is what would be like the first few steps in that process. So by the end, what you're going to turn in on Storify is essentially an annotated bibliography. But you're going to be using not just academic resources from CNN OneSearch, but you're also going to be looking for sources online. So what you're going to be doing then in the annotated bibliography is you're going to use your research question to focus your reading of each of your sources. When you read each of your sources, what you'll want to do is write just a brief synopsis of that source. Then you're going to write a specific, specific reasoning for why you find that source to be credible. You need to be as specific as you can with that. It's not enough to just say the information seems credible and seems to match other sources. That's an okay line of reasoning and an okay direction to go, but if you do that, you also need to provide specific examples to show what information matches those other sources and which other sources, to show, again, how you've been thinking about the sources fitting together. You can also think in terms of who the author was, what the site was where the information was published, what journal it was published in, if you're looking at one of your academic sources, or what press. All of those things are relevant, but you need to be as specific as you can about them in order to really explain why you found the source credible. So again, what we have now for each annotation so far, and what I've told you, is a synopsis and your statement on credibility. Then finally, you need to explain how that source helped you to answer your research question. That's the reason why I asked you to have at least, or I should say, no more than one or two research questions, so that you can keep your project focused and so that you can evaluate each of your sources in terms of that question. Now, in some of the suggestions that I made to those of you that had several research questions listed, I was trying to give you kind of broader research questions that would encapsulate or capture a few of the questions that you were posing anyway, but do it in a way that kind of caught all of them and thought of them in terms of overall historical significance. So you want to be thinking about the so what still with this project. Again, why does this matter? That your research question should help your readers to understand that. So the research question then is central. It's going to be that thing that ties all of your annotations together across your various sources in the annotated bibliography on Storify. And for that reason, you need to write an introduction paragraph and a conclusion paragraph to go along with that. In your introduction, you want to introduce the topic, of course, explain what the topic is, kind of the general outline of the events that are connected to the topic you've chosen, And then you want to, if not explicitly state your research question, you do want to directly state your thesis statement. Your thesis statement in this case is going to be your answer to your research question. So it should be the thing you present right up front in the intro that then appears throughout the annotations of each of your sources that ties everything together. And then, of course, in your conclusion, you're going to bring it all back together. So again, we're having some of the pieces of a research paper here on Storify, but it's not a research paper. Again, you need to be evaluating your sources. Avoid writing an overall narrative of the story of the event or the topic you've chosen, but instead think in terms of specific sources and what they say about your topic. And that's where you want to go with this. Hopefully that's helpful. There is also a tutorial video in the final project guidelines. You can link to it there from that instructions sheet. It's also available in the final project instructions tab, here on Blackboard. So please access that. That's an older video. You'll notice I have some hair. I have an older headset that I'm using to make the video. But all of the steps that I show you and how to use Storify and those sorts of things, all of that's still relevant. So please do check that out if you have any questions. And then also let me know what questions you have, and I'll be happy to help out.